Wow, Reflux! You're so big and strong!
Yes, Andy.
Ugh, Reflux is sounding terrifying.
Scepter, I will be able to reproduce infinitely!
Yes, Andy.
Yes, Andy! Yes, Andy! Can't you say anything else?
No, Andy.
Sorry, I had to stay silent for that. That's one of my favorite bits of dialogue in this game. So anyway, that's the door that opens when you have 43,000 points. I said 41,000 in the last part, so sorry, I was a little bit off. Either way, though, up here, we actually have 4 emeralds and some cut enemies from the game, or at least cut creatures. Now, this over here is a glutes. That's the thing that Glowbox keeps referencing whenever he says gaseous glutes, and also apparently he doesn't like them either because he kind of disses them. This is a Bonfawn, I believe it's called. It's that creature you saw at the beginning of the game, except it's blue. And this over here is the Zower, which I mentioned in Clearly Forest. It's the thing that was supposed to chase you, and oh, wow. I don't know why that animation upsets me so much, but yeah, I do not like looking at that guy running. Maybe that's why they didn't include him in a chase sequence, because, I think I might have gotten motion sickness if I saw him running. Anyway, though, here we have plenty of healing and a few extra points for the road. Doesn't matter too much because we're about to fight the final boss, but hey, you know, increase your score a little bit more, why not? Alright, time to fight the final boss, and ooh, geez. Oh goodness, Reflux! The Leptis has not done anything good for your skin, jeez! Alright, so part 1 of the final battle. This one's actually kind of difficult, but I like it. I think this is actually a really well-designed battle, which I know is really weird for this game. These bolts of lightning are very difficult to dodge in that you have a little bit of warning for them. However, they do strike quickly, so you actually kind of want to outmaneuver them rather than just like simply dodge them. Whenever you have a blue cannon, you're threatening his shield, he will fire these sparks, which will move after a second. Basically, they move out and then they pick a direction, so try not to stay too close to any of the attacks. The bolts do get faster, and eventually he will fire them in clusters, so be wary of that. But anyway, yeah, I actually really like this battle because it's definitely a battle that's difficult at first, but the more you get used to it, the easier it is. So, like, it's got a pretty recognizable pattern and set of attacks, so even if it seems like his lightning attack is a little bit unpredictable and hard to dodge, it is actually easy to get used to, at least for me. Yeah, you kind of want to do a back and forth motion even when he starts grouping up his attacks, and you can scam a few hits off him as he's putting up his shield. But yeah, this is like the only boss in the game which I feel is well designed outside of, well, the first battle with Reflux. But yeah, I mean, maybe you might think it's bad for the final boss to, you know, be possible to get used to. Oh yeah, that's what happens when you get hit by that attack, by the way. You lose a lot of valuable time to hit him, but thankfully it didn't interrupt me, so I got a pretty good set of hits off of him, and that is, that doesn't look good. Oh, and now he is very big. Oh dear. Oh great, now he's mad and angry. Alright, so phase 2. When he pounds the ground, he is going to throw you up into the air and then punch you. And when he does that attack, he's going to swipe, so you want to be on the lower layer. Whenever he punches the ground, you have to be in the air or grabbing the ledge. You can also grab the ledge in order to avoid that attack. You can differentiate the attacks, just A, by how they move, and B, what sound he makes, if he does make a sound. Oftentimes he won't, which is kind of annoying because the sound is a great cue. Otherwise, yeah, there are some spots where you might be in trouble if you're running. Once you get close to the end, though, he will do that attack, and then he will punch that ground. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but anyway, once he does that, you can climb up onto his back and punch this. Don't charge up, just stand as close to the crystal as you possibly can, and that way you'll get the maximum number of hits off of him. And once your power-up runs out, that's pretty much when he's going to throw you off. You know, most people giving themselves a weakness are actually doing themselves a disservice, but at the same time, now we can't just hit him to do damage. We have to go all the way to his back to hit him, and oop, yeah, that's what I mean. Sometimes you're just not in a good position to dodge. Thankfully, he doesn't do too much damage, unless, of course, you haven't been collecting teensies. That being said, though, I don't know if I show it off this cycle, but there is a bit of a trick to... Oh, that's not going to work. There is a bit of a trick to go along a bit faster, and you can dodge this, by the way, provided you fly, not immediately, but like, wait a moment, then start flying, and his swipe should miss you. That being said, once he gets close to death, he does actually change up that attack and makes it basically impossible to dodge. However, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. Alright, so we've got one cycle left. His attacks are going to be very fast now. So if he's doing his claw attack, you're probably not going to get out of the way, but I actually did that on purpose because you get a fair bit of distance when he does that. Yeah, you do not have a lot of time to dodge that attack. Oop, no, what was I even thinking there? But anyway, yeah. The fact that he swipes twice and the second one will hit you over to the right is super helpful. Of course, I don't think you have to go to the right for this battle, meaning if you want to, you can... Yeah, Andre does insult you if you get hit by that too much, but I don't care, because it's actually a pro speedrunning trick. Thank you very much. But anyway, yeah, I guess you could go to the left instead. This place is pretty much... it's the same left or right, symmetrical. That's the word I'm trying to think of. It's pretty much symmetrical, so it doesn't really matter which way you go, I think. The camera might be worse if you go to the left, I haven't tried it. That being said, we're not done yet, though. Reflux is going to be very angry, and... oh, look at him go. He's rising to heaven. Now, before we move on, there is a secret we can get to if we go down here. Be wary, though, and make sure to glide down, because this is the only bottomless pit in the game. Fall down there, and that's an automatic game over. Yeah, I know. This is the only time in the game where you can actually fall. Usually there's some sort of hazard that won't cause instant death and will just hurt you. This is annoying to pull off, fitting your way through this ledge right here. It didn't take me too many tries, but I still didn't want to slow down the final boss. Now, here's a very Mario 3D Land/World-esque section, in that this part of the battle is a platforming section. Be wary, as the platforms will start disappearing. His little shockwave, echo, yelling attack. Remember that effect that happened when Rayman got hit by lightning? Yeah, that'll happen if you get hit by his echo, wave, whatever majig it is. But anyway, yeah, again, be wary because this is the only point in the game in which there's a bottomless pit. And not all paths have yellow cans, so make sure to figure out where those are, because otherwise you don't really have much lenience here. Those platforms start disappearing very quickly, and once you reach the top here, we actually get the cutscene, but this time I don't mind. It's fitting. You also don't have to aim, you just press the fire button, and Rayman does this automatically. Well, there he goes. Goodbye! Ah, dang it. Well, he's still alive, and to make matters worse, he's now his own OC. But what will we do now? Well, remember how they introduced a new gameplay segment? Yeah. So the good news is you do actually get a save point before this part of the battle, but of course I cut that out as per usual. The bad news is this is the final part of the final boss, which you might think, okay, that's good because we've fought 3 forms already. But this is the final form of the final boss, and it's a turret segment. I loved all three of those first few forms of this battle. But this battle is just tedious. You have to shoot the shield around the crystal until it goes away, and then he's going to refresh it. No, that does not happen at any fault of mine. That is just the thing he does. You have to destroy that thing twice before you can actually hit the crystal and go to the next phase. So yeah, how anticlimactic. The final boss is a turret section, which again, they just introduced in the previous stage, probably for this boss. And the worst part is you can't quite call this lazy because they did have to design a new section for it, new gameplay style. By the way, he's going to try to punch you here, so make sure to aim correctly. And I do find this cool in concept, but overall it's a pretty annoying battle. Once you do this, he's going to grow weak, and in order to heal himself, he's going to send out a lot of black lungs, and then he will go into stasis. The hoodlums will now attempt to walk into him in order to regain his health, and we have to destroy them with these bombs that, again, are completely new even to this Armageddon, or whatever it's called. So yeah, even in the new gameplay section, there is a new gameplay section, because we haven't done this before. So anyway, yeah, you do receive a little bit of damage from the red orbs. If you get too close to reflux, you'll be repelled, but that's really not too much of an issue because that won't hit you. It will, however, waste time. So once all the hoodlums are gone, either due to you destroying them or if they've just walked into them, reflux will recover, and we have to do this again. This section isn't difficult, it's just tedious. You're not really allowed to make that many mistakes because we have a very short health meter, but you don't take that much damage anyway. It's just the shots he fires come very quickly and are a distraction, so it's more of a time waster. And the fact that we have to destroy this twice is even more annoying, especially since this is already a phase of the fight we have to do multiple times. And two other annoying things. For some reason, even though you could rapid fire in the previous turret section, you can't hear. You have to press it over and over again to fire. I don't know why they changed that, but it's annoying. Second off, there's no cursor, so you pretty much have to figure out where you're firing on your own, which, you know, isn't really that easy because all we have to work with is the angle of this thing. Yeah, since we can't rapid fire, it's hard to discern a location of where it actually is until we're, you know, actually firing repeatedly by pressing the button over and over again, which, I mean, I guess it could be more tiring, but it would have been nice if they let you rapid fire for this battle like they did before. Plus, the turret feels, like, really floaty. It's hard to aim as is, but yeah, it's really floaty for some reason. It still would have been floaty and hard to aim even if there was a crosshair, but like, at least I would know where I was firing ahead of time.
Did you hear that, Rayman? He called me an ignoramus, that old sweet fucker.
So yeah, the nice thing, however, is, you might notice, there are now fewer hoodlums in this area. And, ooh, he's got even less health. So yeah, we are actually doing considerable damage to him over time, so that's nice. Obviously, if you do horribly at this section, then eventually, or it takes longer, rather. Also, I really don't like the music for the final boss, even though the soundtrack's been pretty good for the most part. I don't know why it's so weak here, but this song's just really weird. Like, what is this even supposed to be? It feels like some, I don't know, tutorial music for, like, a building game? I want to say Incredible Machines, but, like, I played Incredible Machines Contraptions, and that game had, like, the chillest music on the face of the earth, so it's not that. But yeah, it feels like a build menu or tutorial from some game. It's really weird. Anyway, unfortunately, we're going to be doing this 4 times over. Yeah, I know. I mean, I guess I kind of got better at it, even though Reflux just keeps attacking and attacking. So basically, I guess the best way to do this is you kind of have to make, like, a circular motion, if I could pronounce that correctly, where you go up to the turret, you spin around, you fire at one of his magic bolts or whatever those are, and around, and that's how you do damage. Yeah. God. Like, the worst part is, they didn't even mess up in the 11th hour. Like, they messed up at 11:59. I love Tower of the Leptis. I think it's a great final level, even with the turret section. And I really like Reflux. Up until this point, he was one of the only good bosses in the game. Other than Reflux. Himself, when he was far more handsome than he is now.
Look, I'll make you a deal. Let Andy go, and we'll let you capture Pete.
Oh, Glowbox. Trying to act cool. To be fair, though, we really do have him on the ropes because, yeah, he just sent out 2 guys, even though the animation still plays and 3 gets sent out. But yeah, there are now only 2 hoodlums on the field, and they're very far away, so, gonna take care of 1, and gonna take care of the other wherever he is. It's hard to see him with all these. Though, even if we didn't take care of this guy, rather, we'd still be able to finish Reflux on the next hit. Unfortunately, even though we did kill all the hoodlums, he does have enough strength to take off one more time. You might have noticed before, but every time we do hit him in the crystal, he does take damage, so if you've been paying attention to how much damage he takes, as long as he has less than that at the end of one of these segments, that's the end of a fight. So even if you don't do as well as I apparently did, even though I didn't feel like this is the best run, you can still figure out when you'll actually defeat him. And again, I'm so thankful I kinda got better at this. And it is possible to botch when he's about to flame punch you. He won't, like, repeat this section, thankfully. However, he will try to punch you again, and of course if he keeps doing that, you'll take more damage until you die. So make sure to aim correctly. Again, that's a lot more difficult without a crosshair, but it's doable, though I definitely had a botched run where he managed to hit me. Oh well, anyway, hit him, and coup de grace, there he goes. Yep, they stumbled right at the finish line. And for some reason, he turned into ice, the one element I guess he never utilized. And Andre's too tired to fly.
Don't touch me! No! No! Glowbox! Help me! I'm scared!
Jeez.
No! Ah!
Jeez. Rayman, what the hell? Yeah, sure, just laugh at the guy.
Hey, we're back where we started. Looks like we get a full night's sleep after all. Hey, what's the matter, Glowbox?
It's Andy. I miss him.
You know, he's happier now. Look at the red lungs. How happy they seem.
I don't care. I want my Andy.
I'm not sure that's such a good idea. Besides, I wouldn't know how to do it.
You have to scare a red lung.
I hate to imagine what could possibly scare a lung.
Sorry, we couldn't get Billy West, so we just had Rayman do that last line, and okay, well, I'm sure that website still exists. Anyway, yeah, I bet I did totally well. I bet I ranked #1 on the high score list. Anyway, though, yeah, that's Rayman 3 Hoodlum Havoc. I must admit, I really like this game. I mean, I liked it before, but, I like it more than I liked it when I was a kid. Because again, for some reason, I did not like the last levels when I was younger. Anything that happened after Desert of the Kanaran, I just did not remember fondly. And I don't know why. It's just a really good game overall. Again, except other than the bosses overall, and the fact that they were actually on to something at last moment, and then stumbled when they made the final boss a turret section. Again, I get what they were going for, and conceptually it's cool, but why is it the final boss? It's the final part of the final boss, which had sections that were tougher beforehand, and also more fun. But anyway, other than that, very good game overall. I love how varied the platforming is. I think the combat's surprisingly good for how simple it is. Even if there are a few weak parts here and there in terms of actually fighting, like that one suspended crate section in Hoodlum headquarters. Honestly, the level progression kind of reminds me of Sonic 3. I get that vibe from it. Just the way you go from level to level and they all sort of connect into one almost coherent world. The worlds themselves aren't connected, but the levels in each world are connected enough where I get that Sonic 3 vibe, which, considering Sonic 3 is one of my favorite platformers, I ain't gonna complain about that. What else is there to talk about that I haven't really gone into? Oh right, I should also mention, because of the garbage audio mixing and my garbage ears, sometimes subtitling this was a little bit difficult, so thanks to the Rayman Wiki for random quotes throughout the game, which were surprisingly helpful, and barrelbeast.tumblr.com for the teensy quotes, because those were also sometimes hard to understand. I figured it would be a good idea to mention those. Music's good, I think it's a good looking game. Humor, not really the best. Glowbox and Andre were probably the best parts of that, and even then, not really the best writing. Which I guess is the risk of writing comedy, but I don't know, I think other PS2 games did better. Jak and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank, which I still think aged fairly well. Last time I saw them, they were okay humor-wise. Probably not as funny as I found them back in the day, but still. Even then, I've never really thought of Rayman 3 as that funny a game. Again, outside of that last little bit of dialogue at the start of the last level. And honestly, as much as I do like the level designs and how the game looks, I have to admit, Rayman as a series didn't really have a very good coherent style until Legends and Origins and Legends, rather. I do kind of want to play Rayman 2 after completing this game because, I don't know, I remember Rayman 2 being okay, but I like this game a lot more, and that is in part because of, the aesthetics and all that. I remember Rayman 2 being kind of muddy looking, like a lot of dull greens and browns, a few other colors here and there, but yeah, nothing that really stuck out to me aesthetically, but I don't know, maybe the level design is better than I remember giving it credit for. I think it also had a similar problem to this game where it was trying to be a little bit too serious, maybe? I don't know, there wasn't really that much plot to that game either, but it was very, lethargic, I guess? I don't know. Again, I don't want to try to describe it too much since it's been a while since I've played it. But anyway, that's Rayman 2 and this is Rayman 3. Well, I guess I should mention after that ending, I'm sure you're wondering what happened after this fantastic plot, which I said was not really that well written. But obviously, that was the humor and not the gripping story of the game. But you want more, don't you? Well, there is Rayman 3 Hoodlum's Revenge, which I'm going to be showing off alongside the extras. After this, I'll be showing off the extra movies, the mini-games, and I'll be taking a quick look at the Game Boy Advance version of this game, and the sequel, which, if you're wondering why I'm not giving that a full playthrough, Hoodlum's Revenge is also a Game Boy Advance game. It's an isometric platformer on the Game Boy Advance. You know, in case you want to know what kind of quality you were getting into, it's, not good. But other than that, though, I guess since we're talking about extras, I'm probably done talking here. Yeah, I said plenty about the game earlier on, so I think we're just about ready to wrap up. So, I've been Fefner Masamune, this has been Rayman 3 Hoodlum Havoc, I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time for whatever I do next. Also, these credits are really lazy.
My dad is stronger than your dad. No way. My dad's stronger than your dad. I heard his friend say that he can even pick up a dog. Would you guys please stop talking about your dad?